No more Dementors at Azkaban. Following Voldemort's defeat, one of the most significant changes was the abolition of Dementors from Azkaban. These creatures, who thrived on draining hope and joy, had been used to guard the prison for centuries. Their psychological effects were as harmful as their physical presence, often causing prisoners to lose their sanity or give in to despair. As Sirius Black once noted, you could tell when someone was close to death because the Dementors got excited, feeding on that final collapse of will. Under Kingsley Shacklebolt's leadership, the Ministry realized that using Dementors was morally wrong and a sign of institutional decay. Dementors had even sided with Voldemort during the Second Wizarding War, feeding on both wizards and muggles alike. In their place, the Ministry introduced skilled Aurors, magical wards, and enchanted constructs to ensure security. Azkaban was transformed from a place of torment into one of containment and justice, signaling a crucial shift in the wizarding world's approach to punishment. Hogwarts is rebuilt. The Battle of Hogwarts left the iconic school heavily damaged, with large sections of the castle destroyed, including the Astronomy Tower and parts of the Great Hall. The Ministry of Magic, under Kingsley Shacklebolt's coordination, immediately began the reconstruction process. Specialist builders and curse breakers were enlisted to safely clear magical debris and remove dangerous artifacts left behind by the Death Eaters. The restoration of Hogwarts wasn't just about rebuilding. It was a symbolic effort to restore hope and security to the wizarding world. Protective enchantments were updated, and new security measures were added, ensuring that the school would be safer for future generations. Minerva McGonagall, who remained as headmistress, oversaw the rebuild and ensured continuity of Hogwarts traditions, including the sorting hat ceremony and Quidditch competitions. By the following academic year, Hogwarts resumed its operations, maintaining the integrity of its magical heritage while adapting to modern security needs. They don't graduate but become Aurors. Harry Potter, Ron Weasley, and Hermione Granger did not complete their final year at Hogwarts. Instead, they dedicated themselves to locating and destroying Voldemort's Horcruxes, a mission that ultimately led to the Dark Lord's defeat. Despite their lack of formal qualifications, Kingsley Shacklebolt offered them positions in the Ministry. Harry became an Auror, specializing in capturing fugitive Death Eaters, eventually rising to head of the Auror office. Ron joined Harry initially, but later left to help expand the family business, Weasley's Wizard Wheezes. Hermione, after completing her 7th year and Newt's, joined the Department for the Regulation and Control of Magical Creatures, later rising through the ranks to become Minister for Magic. Their career trajectories reflected the new policy that valued practical wartime experience over formal education, particularly in critical areas like the Auror office. Post-war relationships. Following the war, many characters formed long-lasting relationships, many of which were explored in the books. George Weasley married Angelina Johnson, and they had 2 children, Fred II and Roxanne. Luna Lovegood, now a magazoologist, married Rolf Scamander, grandson of the famous Newt Scamander. The couple had twin sons, Lorcan and Lysander, and traveled extensively for Luna's research on magical creatures. Neville Longbottom married Hannah Abbott and took on a teaching position at Hogwarts. Draco Malfoy married Astoria Greengrass, though he raised their son Scorpius alone after her early death. These relationships showcased the healing of old wounds and the connections formed during the war. Harry and Dudley's repaired relationship. Harry's relationship with his Muggle cousin, Dudley Dursley, underwent a surprising shift after the war. While the two never became close friends, they reached a form of understanding. In a rare moment of gratitude, Dudley offered Harry a handshake before the Dursleys went into hiding. This moment marked the beginning of a tentative reconciliation, and while the visits between Harry and Dudley remained awkward, they became something of a tradition for the sake of their children knowing each other. Dudley's treatment of Harry's kids was a stark contrast to his parents' attitude, showing that even the most bitter relationships could change with time. Petunia's hidden affection. Despite the cruelty Petunia Dursley often showed Harry, there were subtle signs that she retained some affection for her nephew. Before her death, Dudley discovered that Petunia had kept the blanket in which Harry had been wrapped as an infant. She had preserved it all those years, suggesting that she held on to at least one connection to Harry and her sister Lily. This blanket, a symbol of their familial bond, was returned to Harry by Dudley after Petunia's passing. This small act of preservation indicated that, deep down, Petunia had a hidden affection for Harry, even if it was never fully expressed. Umbridge's fate. Dolores Umbridge, one of the most reviled figures in the wizarding world, faced justice after the fall of Voldemort. Her role as a loyal supporter of the Dark Lord's regime led to her arrest following the collapse of his government. Kingsley Shacklebolt's reformed ministry conducted a purge of all collaborators, and Umbridge was convicted on multiple charges, including unlawful imprisonment, abuse of authority, and complicity in the persecution of Muggle-borns. Her punishment was a life sentence in Azkaban, where she would remain in isolation, serving as a symbol of the consequences of bureaucratic evil. While she would no longer be tormented by Dementors, her fall from power marked the end of her reign of terror. Lord Voldemort. Lord Voldemort, born Tom Marvolo Riddle, is the most feared dark wizard in recent history. Obsessed with blood purity and immortality, he created several Horcruxes, dark magical objects in which he split his soul, making himself nearly indestructible. This obsession with avoiding death drove many of his horrific acts, from the murder of Harry Potter's parents to the torture of countless Muggles and Muggle-borns. Voldemort's journey began at Hogwarts, where he was sorted into Slytherin House. He quickly became a talented student, but his views on blood purity separated him from his peers. As he grew older, his increasingly twisted beliefs led him down a dark path, culminating in the terror he spread during the First and Second Wizarding Wars. His fear of death and desire for power left a trail of devastation, but his downfall came when he tried to kill Harry Potter and, in the process, made himself vulnerable. Voldemort's name is forever tied to evil, a symbol of the dangers of unchecked ambition and fear. Gellert Grindelwald. Gellert Grindelwald was one of the most brilliant yet dangerous dark wizards in history. Born in 1883, he showed a natural talent for magic, which led to his expulsion from Durmstrang Institute. Grindelwald's early rise was partly due to his brief but intense partnership with Albus Dumbledore. Together, they shared a vision of wizarding dominance over Muggles, justifying it as the greater good. But Grindelwald's ideas took a darker turn as he sought to use the Elder Wand to achieve his goals. After stealing the Elder Wand, Grindelwald began his global campaign for wizarding supremacy. He spread fear across Europe, building a following of like-minded dark wizards. He committed numerous atrocities and was responsible for many deaths. His rule was marked by violence, magical warfare, and terror. Despite his many crimes, Grindelwald saw himself as justified, believing his cause would ultimately bring about a better world for wizards. His reign ended when Dumbledore defeated him in a legendary duel in 1945, but his ideas about wizarding superiority still echoed, paving the way for Lord Voldemort. Morgana le Fay. Morgana le Fay is a figure both in legend and magical history, known for being one of the most powerful witches to have ever lived. In the magical world, she is remembered as an adversary to Merlin, one of the greatest wizards of all time. Morgana was believed to possess immense magical abilities, some say rivaling or even exceeding Merlin's. She was known for using powerful enchantments, shape-shifting magic, and mind control. Morgana's hatred for all that was good, harmonious, and for Muggle-borns pushed her to embrace the darkest aspects of magic. She stands as a symbol of magical opposition, representing everything that Merlin fought against. Her influence on early magical conflicts and her commitment to evil has earned her a place as one of the most formidable witches ever to walk the earth. Bellatrix Lestrange. Bellatrix Lestrange was one of the most loyal and dangerous followers of Lord Voldemort. Born into the Black family, she was raised with the belief that pure-blood wizards were superior to Muggle-borns and Muggles. Bellatrix's allegiance to Voldemort was unwavering, and her cruelty was infamous. As a Death Eater, she took pleasure in using the Cruciator's curse to torture others. Her most horrifying act was the torture of Frank and Alice Longbottom, which left them in a permanent state of insanity. Bellatrix also played a key role in the Battle of the Department of Mysteries, where she killed her cousin, Sirius Black. Even when Voldemort was temporarily defeated, Bellatrix's loyalty never wavered. She escaped Azkaban and returned to serve him, cementing her place as one of the most sadistic and feared witches of her time. Godelot Godot. Godelot Godot is remembered for two dark accomplishments: his possession of the Elder Wand and his authorship of the book Magic Most Ale, which detailed some of the most forbidden forms of magic. Godot's obsession with the Elder Wand led him to push the limits of magic, conducting cruel experiments and creating dark spells that influenced generations of dark wizards. Godot's work in creating Horcruxes, a magic that splits one's soul to grant immortality, made him one of the earliest practitioners of the darkest arts. His experiments were not just about knowledge, but about power at any cost. His downfall came at the hands of his own son, Hereward, who locked him away and claimed the Elder Wand for himself. Though Godot's reign was brief, his dark contributions left a lasting legacy that continued to shape dark magic long after his death. Salazar Slytherin. Salazar Slytherin, one of the four founders of Hogwarts, is remembered not only for his magical abilities, but for his deeply divisive beliefs. He believed that only pure-blood wizards should be allowed to attend Hogwarts, a view that set him apart from the other founders. When they disagreed with him, Slytherin secretly built the Chamber of Secrets beneath the school and hid a basilisk inside, intending to rid Hogwarts of Muggle-born students. Slytherin's legacy is intertwined with blood purity, a philosophy that would lead to the rise of Lord Voldemort. His ability to speak Parseltongue, the language of snakes, further deepened his association with dark magic. Even after his departure from Hogwarts, his influence persisted, particularly in the form of the Slytherin house, which continued to uphold his ideology of blood superiority. His actions were a precursor to the rise of dark wizards, who would follow in his footsteps, leaving a permanent mark on magical society. Herpo the Foul. Herpo the Foul was one of the earliest dark wizards in history, active in ancient Greece. He is believed to be the creator of the first basilisk, a deadly serpent, bred through dark magic. Herpo's basilisk could kill with just one glance, and he used it as a tool of terror. Herpo's greatest claim to infamy, however, is his creation of Horcruxes, a forbidden magical practice in which a wizard splits their soul and stores it in an object, effectively making them immortal. Though the exact origins of Horcruxes are shrouded in mystery, Herpo is widely considered the first to discover and use this dark magic. His experiments on soul manipulation laid the foundation for dark practices that would continue to influence wizards like Voldemort. Herpo's legacy is tied to the creation of dark magical creatures and the experiments that led to the darkest practices, forever changing the course of magical history. Loxias. Loxias was a dark wizard who became infamous for giving the Elder Wand its ominous nickname, the Death Stick. He wielded the wand solely for murder and domination, and his violent campaign of terror struck fear across the wizarding world. Unlike other wizards who sought power for control, Loxias' sole interest was death. His reign of terror was marked by indiscriminate violence, and his use of dark magic amplified his ability to strike fear into anyone who crossed his path. Loxias' death is shrouded in mystery, with multiple individuals claiming responsibility for ending his life. This ambiguity added to his terrifying legend, and Loxias' name became synonymous with pure destruction. Loxias' use of the Elder Wand shows the extreme danger of wielding such immense power without a moral compass. His legacy is a reminder of the destructive potential of dark magic when it is used without restraint or conscience.